The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Butcher's Bible Podcast. I am your host, Ant.
I'm Luke.
We're two dudes preaching the good word of the meat industry.
One episode at a time.
Yeah, boy. Nailed the intro. Oh, man. We have got a treat for everyone today. We have got the one, the only, the very talented, the most magnificent butcher and our personal greatest friend that we ever known is Simon Maynard. How are you?
Hey, top of the world. Absolute pleasure to be on with you boys tonight. It's been a while, sort of haven't seen you both. So yeah, absolute pleasure. It's really excited about this. So thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, we know who you are, but if you want to plug and promote everything, Simon Maynard.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm Simon. I been a butcher for 12 years. Not that long in the big scheme of things. Been a chef for the best part of my life. Prior to the butchery. So currently I run a butchery in Faversham in Kent. Nice little butchery in a nice big farm shop called Maynard. Yeah. Been running the butchery now for 6 years. Been at the butchery for 7, nearly 8 years. It's amazing. So the butchery that I run is all whole carcass butchery. So it's whole bodies of beef, it's whole lambs, it's whole pigs, whole chickens. It's no boxed. It comes in from the farmer to the abattoir straight to us. And obviously then we work our magic, which is the beauty of what we do. Something I'm really sort of passionate about, and something that's we've really kind of pushed over the last sort of 8 years with our butchery to be able to achieve this. So that's really me in a nutshell. I'm fanatical nutter, enjoys food, lives for food, and loves butchery, and pretty much that's me.
Man after my own heart.
Yeah,
it's definitely. It's very cool. So how's Maynard going? Is it?
Yeah, it's good. It's it's going sort of strength to strength at the moment. So, like I said, we started out on this road 7, nearly 8 years ago, from a humble little single butchery counter doing financially $2-3 grand a week, to where we're at now. With a much bigger butchery counter, a much bigger offering, a bigger team, pushing the boundaries, 14-15k a week, no wholesale, just straight out. Counter to customer sales on whole carcass.
Wow.
Yeah, it's built and it's building rapidly. We're pushing really hard. We're starting to look at new structures and new developments. Production's going to be one of the big developments that we're looking at this year. So sort of taking the obvious routes, sausage rolls, pies, that kind of area. Just something we haven't really kind of delved into too much at the moment, but we definitely know that's the next route for us.
Yeah. You have a hot food deli there, don't you? You must do.
Hot food deli. We've got, to give Maynard, to kind of round it up into a nutshell. So we've got a deli, a greengrocery, a butchery. Then we've got a food village, which is like outside street food. We've got a cafe internally as well. So deli is like humongous. I couldn't tell you how many cheeses, 50, 60 odd cheeses maybe.
Yeah, I popped down there for that PFL meeting.
Yeah.
It's a spectacle. It's really, really cool. But it was obviously winding down, slightly closed when I got there. But I'd love to see it when it's really buzzing.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's the produce, or the variety of the produce that we've got is just phenomenal. Whether it would be on your fruit and veg section, local or imported. We work a lot with sort of like the Thanet Earth, the road grows, that kind of thing. But we've also got little Italian suppliers out in Sicily that we get a pallet of Italian vegetables and fruit come through, which is just unbelievable. These Sicilian lemons that are just insane, massive unwaxed lemons. When you're making like your porchettas, using these lemons is just magical. It transforms a product from something into just something completely different. So yeah, no, we're lucky. We've got the cafe's really good. We're working with the cafe at the moment to see how we can take that to the next level. Slowly getting bits across. The food village is most exciting with the street food scene. So things like the obvious is your burgers, using up 4/4 cuts, but not for steak sandwiches, bit of LMC, cut nice and thin, banging steak sandwich. So we're kind of working on those kind of developments at the moment, and it's a building block. So we've got the butchery to one level, and now it's like how can we then build it to that to that next level that we're coming towards.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
God, yeah, man, that sounds exciting. Is there any inside scoop you can give us that you're going to be building into, other than the deli that you were saying, or is it kind of hard?
So there's only really inside scoop. Like I said, the product development is going to be massive as we go forward, but it is one step at a time. It is what a lot of other butchers are already doing in a lot of respects. So the pies, the pasties, the pork pies, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Really kind of increasing the offering with the USP that we'll talk about, I'm sure, as we go through tonight, with the USP that we have set in the butchery with the ethical, the regenerative, the sustainability, which is going to be the big stamp on everything that we do, whether it will be a pie having pasture for life beef in it, whether it will be a chicken pie with Sutton Hoo chickens. It's going to have that USP stamp on absolutely everything that we do. And I think that's kind of there is no inside scoop really. That is the next evolution. Working closely with partners to looking at charcuterie, whether it's a case of getting the current meat that we're using off to a company to make charcuterie. There's that's another one we're kind of sort of playing around with, and big festival coming up, which I'm sure we can talk about in a bit. There's a big festival coming up in July, which is a massively first one for us, which not to scare Luke, but we've done 2,500 tickets for.
2,500 tickets.
2,500 tickets.
I went to see Doug the other week.
Yeah.
And he was like, they've had to produce more tickets. He was like, they're getting close to...
We released
1,000?
We released another 200 tickets beginning of the week, and it's gone mad. The interaction has gone absolutely insane. So really looking forward to it. I will mention some names. There's some big names kind of talking about it. We had DJ Barbecue mention it. With Julian Brown on the last Instagram post that he put up, which is really good. So I'm hoping we can get DJ down there.
Yeah,
Barbecue lads, sounds like they're coming down.
Yeah, nice.
So it's really good. And obviously then we'll mention as we've got Paul Dives coming down from Hampshire Barbecue. He's going to bring the big green egg taxi. Close friend of mine, we've got Russ from Smoky Rebel.
Nice.
So he's giving us his barbecue from Rebel Grills. We're going to have his dry rubs. So some tools, to be cooking on. Yeah, the irony is, Russ lives right behind the shop, so it's kind of like, but hey,
no brainer.
It's hand in hand. So yeah, Russ is bringing his big ass Rebel Grills barbecue down for the day. But then we've got the standard toys. We've got the Traegers, the Gosneys, the big green eggs, and about 15 brewers. And
I feel like you're missing like a commentary role, maybe like the Butcher's Bible. Who knows?
Well, there could be, absolutely. I certainly think there could be room for that as well.
It's to be announced, Dan. You just got to hold on, mate.
I think up the guard. I'm sorry.
This is an absolute first, Russ. It's something we've never done, and we've talked about for a long, long time. The standpoint for the barbecue side of things is the regenerative and sustainability aspect. Yeah. So the farmers, this is how good it is. The farmers are sponsored all the meat for us.
Amazing.
So Sam Newington down the road from me is doing the beef, and Sutton Hoo's doing chicken. Out of Palm, giving us the lamb. So it's really cool. We've got the farmers all coming to the event as well.
What's the name of it?
Beer and barbecue.
Nice. That's a good plug.
So straightforward, simplistic, no frills, no spills. So
get on it, guys.
Also, we've got. I hear we've got quite a good butcher doing a demo as well.
Is it you? Is you the only one that I can think of?
No. And I said a good butcher. So I hear, is it Luke I hear is doing a demo for us?
It's me. I will be there doing a lamb demo.
Oh, you could have chosen better.
And I'm going to have
it's going to be an absolute privilege.
I'm going to have Doug on the stage as well, just so I'm not sort of like, I cut the lamb like this because I do.
That's funny. I spoke to Doug.
I was just be there to just like chat and be a filler for me whilst I'm just
Yeah, I spoke to Doug the other night, and he was saying, "Yeah, I've spoken to Luke, and this is where this is like how we're going to compare this. So we're going to have like conversation, please. That's brilliant. But to be honest with you, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, amazing.
Like, we want to cut all seriousness. It's got to be fun, you know.
Yeah, I'll be your cheerleader in the crowd.
I'm super.
Go Lukey, go Lukey, go Lukey.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But it should be cracking. You know, again, another highlight for me. We've got Andrew Clark doing a demo. Andrew is obviously Acme Fire, but Andrew's you know, again, he is one of my best mates. He was my mentor chefing back from day one. You know, so I've known Andrew for years and years and years. So we've got him out of London and we've got him back to Kent, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
I think he's situated in London all the time. I mean, that's all he does. He just do anything else outside of London.
That's it. So yeah, he's obviously now sort of running Acme Fire, which is extremely good. All about grilling, fire,
the styles, the carnivore, that carnivore caveman. He's all about it, isn't he? Just straight on.
Yeah. Well, have you seen his beard?
Yeah. How could you miss it? This is amazing.
Exactly. You never had that when I knew him, but yeah, no. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good day. You know, proper. Obviously, a little bit nervous. Obviously, getting the logistics all finished and finalised, but yeah, it's going to be good. And like I said, it's all about friends, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Beer and Barbecue Festival on Instagram as well, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yeah. So I will put the plug in there. So yeah, Beer and Barbecue Festival on Instagram and Facebook for social media channels. It's also on the McNade website. If you go on the website, then there's a direct link on there as well. So information as to who's doing demos is we're sort of trickling out over the next few weeks. So everybody's names going to sort of come up over the next few weeks. So yeah, just keep an eye on it. There's like I say, it's going to be a cracking day. 6th of July. Keep it in the diaries.
6th of July, not 5th.
No, 6th of July.
6th.
No, awesome.
Amazing.
I want to just go back for a second because you do have a very rich history about chefing. Do you mind if we touch on that?
Yeah, of course. Where do you want me to start?
Well, I know for a fact that you've worked with one of the most legendary chefs, and that's
Michel Roux.
Yes, absolutely. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, of course we can. So, you know, Michel Roux sort of came out about when I was working, if we get this right, I'd worked for the Compass Group, so I was doing a bit of contract catering, and it was just one of those random scenarios that kind of happens that I was working at a medical research company up in London as a catering chef at the time. To be honest, I didn't enjoy it, hated that part. I think I was only there for like maybe 4 weeks. And then, kind of randomly sort of coming home, I had a phone call saying, you know, could I go into Parliament Square and go and see this new restaurant? And it's it happened to be Michel Roux's Parliament Square, which blew me away. You know, it's a legend, you know, kind of growing up for the chefing industry, and you're walking in and then Michel Roux stood there and you're like, whoa, like, is this real? And I'm pinching myself. Yeah. It was such a surreal experience, you know. It was a brand new kitchen, no expense spared. You must have been talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands. You know, I couldn't put a price on it, but
wow,
every plate was probably about £100 a plate. You know, it was insane. But what an experience! Because it wasn't just an experience of going to a restaurant and actually working, you know, in sort of the senior team. It was we also went in and just physically set the restaurant up. The first day I walked into that kitchen, there was no kitchen. It was a blank warehouse space, in effect, in the middle of Parliament Square.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So, you know, it was very much kind of like the easiest way to explain it. Imagine putting the blueprints in front of you going, this is what the kitchen's going to look like. And what an experience, you know, you were going around. I remember going down with, you know, the head chef at the time, and he took us downstairs, and we had, there was trestle tables with all these different crockery stands from all these different companies. And it was kind of like, right, what do you fancy? And we could choose whatever we wanted out of this crockery. And it's, you know, you were talking
blank slate, like
blank slate. And I remember again sitting with the head chef at the time, and you know, the other sous chef, and sitting there looking at the menus, and then looking at writing the lists, and then getting everything. It was literally a blank slate. It's insane, you know. And like I said, you know, the most surreal experience. The most surreal experience for me wasn't so much Michel. He was just a really genuinely nice guy. You know, I remember prepping, and he would just come up next to you and tap you on the shoulder and chat to you and go,
yeah, I remember him saying to me, "Where am I from?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm from Chatham." And he like stop in the kitchen, go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, hang on, boys, we've got a Chatham boy in the kitchen." For those who know, listen to this, who know Medway and know Chatham, you know exactly what I mean. I remember saying to Michelle, I said, "Yeah, but come on, mate, you're not French, are you? Let's be honest." You know, he was really genuinely nice. And then, you know, Albert, his dad, would come in the kitchen quite a lot. Which for me was the most surreal experience, you know, to see Albert, who is, you know, in my eyes, probably one of the three most legendary, if not
a godfather, isn't he?
Yeah, godfather,
yeah. You know, I'm sort of growing up in the Sheffield, and I'm, you know, reading about Albert and sort of Nicola Dennis and obviously Marco Pierre White. You know, it was all of that kind of, you know, group. They were the people, you know, when I first started chefing that you emulated and you wanted to be like, and they were the books you read because that was what you wanted to, you know, to be in that in a situation of sort of seeing these guys is just insane, you know.
What an experience! That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is. You know, I will put it next, if you know, because I think it's only fair to this one to hear, you know, hear the honest. It was hard.
No doubt.
What were the days like there then?
Long. You know, I was commuting from Chatham into London. So again, to put that into perspective for those who don't know, that's probably 45-minute commute. And a lazy tube ride from Victoria to Westminster, which is probably not worth it. But you know, and trying to get your last train back at night as well. You know, it was long days. It was hard going after the big team. And if I'm blatantly honest, you know, where I got to stage, and it wasn't my cup of tea. You know, it's not. You get to that realization that fine dining isn't everything. You know, again, don't get me wrong. This is, I feel any chefs that listen to this, absolutely the most admiration and the most, you know, incredible skill set. But for me, it just wasn't what I enjoyed in chefing. You know, and coming out of actually London was the most interesting thing. You know, I went to a pub in Sevenoaks down the road from me, and that was when I actually chefing became fundamentally enjoyable and had meaning to it. You know, the pub that we was in, it was very much sort of like grassroots. Everything was pretty much done from scratch. You know, whether that would be making salamis or chorizos, or whether that would be you know, making the bread, or you name it, everything was done. We had chickens, we had pigs. It was, you know, the pigs went to slaughter, we prepped the pigs, and it was set in a fine dining element. You know, it was quite rustic. You know, we had a meat sharing board, which was everything made in scratch. You know, your terrines, your salamis, all that kind of thing. And that for me was, you know, that's where their enjoyment really kind of somebody when it was, you start really kind of then focusing on that nose to tail cooking.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that's that direct link from then to what we do now. It's really kind of give you that correlation of, you know, respect for everything in that. That's not just butchery and the animals, you know, that's the fruit and the vegetables. And then you start kind of learning and getting more respect and understanding, you know, things like, you know, where do the flavours come from? You know, ginger, the most flavour and the most nutrients in the skin. Carrots, the same thing.
Yeah.
Why am I kind of sitting here peeling all these things to like next to nothing? And it kind of like changed my whole principles and outlooks on the way you cook. It was like, actually, you know, if I'm going to cook carrot, you've got to cook whole and that.
Did you learn that the nutrients and everything were in the skins, like learning on site, or was that something you researched?
Bit of both, to be honest with you. I think, you know, it's like butchery, you know, chefing's no different. You know, there's an element of research.
Well, don't categorize us with them.
Oh, there's a massive crossover nowadays. I think on the learning cells though, it is very similar. There's an element of research, of course there is, you know.
Yeah.
But that element of research is down to self-passion and self-drive.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, that's about going home and a want to learn, rather than home going, well, my day's done. There's an element, I think, back from the chefing times, there's an element of that experimentation. I don't, you know, social media, even going back then, which wasn't many years ago, really wasn't as big as it is now. So there wasn't that kind of influence. Yeah. You know, whereas now, you know, a lot of learning and research is done via social media. Let's be honest, talking like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, You can message people from across the other side of the world, and you'll get an answer back in a second.
Yeah, 100%.
It wasn't so much, but again, cookbooks is probably one of my biggest. You know, I'll sit and look at my bookcases now, and well in the thousands.
Brilliant.
You know, I have absolute cookbook obsession.
Nice.
It's again, I can't really swing the camera around so you see, but
I trust that you have.
Yeah, I believe it.
If no one knows who you are, your Instagram is just flooded by the most disgusting food I've ever seen. I was like, every time you tag me in, I'm just like, not looking. No, like if they see my messages, it's like, no, I'm not opening it. They're not looking. No, is it just?
But I think that's the thing.
Food.
That's kind of what that's kind of one of the things I live for. Food is my passion.
100%.
Yeah.
Whether that would be physically in the butchering, to cooking at home. Coming out of chefing. Okay, sort of a little bit more about chefing. I kind of got burnt in the chefing industry.
Burn chefs.
My last restaurant was brilliant. Don't get me wrong; it was an amazing place, but wow, it was just hard. The hours were starting to really take their toll. And actually, I kind of tell you about the butchery. I fell into it by chance rather than anything else. That our supplier, funny enough, texted me when I was working my last restaurant and said, "Do you know anybody looking for a butcher's job?" And I actually texted him back saying, "Yeah, I do." And he texted back saying, "Who?" I said, "Well, can you give me some more details?" And he's like, "Who?" I was like, "Well, I am." He's like,
"Yeah, this guy."
Yeah, literally offered me the job over the phone, and 4 weeks later, I was in the butchery.
I was going to ask, how did you get started?
Literally like that. It was a complete luck of the draw. I hadn't even considered butchery at that point. I knew that I was kind of getting to the point of wanting to get out of the kitchen.
Yeah,
and that opportunity came, and it was like, well, this is a bit of a no-brainer.
Do you feel like it pulled you, or was it? Were you being pushed away from chefing, or were you being pulled towards butchery?
No, you know what I mean? Neither or really. I think I can't use the terminology pushed away from chefing. I think it was more of a personal time. Is in the hours were really killing me. The chefing hours were, and I'd gone to the restaurant I'd gone to, actually not a million miles away from you actually, Luke. Was a beast. It was a brand new restaurant. We'd taken it over from what it was and then transformed it into part of. I'll be honest, because I'm sure Pete wouldn't mind. We're part of the LB Mother Group, so which has got the Beacon. We had the 26, which is now Tallow, as well. Great restaurants. But I'd been at the 26 with a good friend of mine, Scott. And then I've gone down to help launch the Beacon. But the Beacon was just a beast. It was just busy, open at 12, continuous service from 12 till 11. So there's no lunch break like that. It was just, you're ready at 12 and you serve. Yeah, it was like
relentless.
Yeah, and it was high end as well. There was everything went into it. It was brilliant. Don't get me wrong, and it's a massive success right there. Their wedding trade is humongous, and they're doing a cracking job. But it got to the stage for me that it was too much. It was hour commute either way from where I'm living, driving, plus then a day's work. So when you get that offer come through with the butchery, it was a bit of a no-brainer.
Cool.
And bear in mind with the chefing that I'd done, we'd done a fair amount of butchery within the chefing that I'd done. When I first started, bear in mind it was very much still whole carcass butchery in the restaurants. It's not so much what I'm seeing nowadays where everything's kind of pre-cut and coming in. We've been exposed to quite a bit, but maybe not. Maybe more towards the more intricate, like French string racks of lamb, chining four ribs of beef, rolling caps, that kind of thing. But there's still an element of it. So kind of stepping into the butchery, you could hold a knife to a certain extent. You could hold a knife in a chefy way. I had realised the pressure on the butchery after my first couple of days of trying to do it, holding it a chefy way and coming out my arms and dead after the first day in the butchery.
Hey, Anne.
Yes, Lee.
Spring's coming, and our friends over at Was Sauce Hut are having an exclusive offer for all your cooking needs. When you use code BB15, that's BB15, and get 15% off all purchases.
From gift cards to family and single pack sauces, they range from Luke's favourite apple bourbon sauce to Anne's mango, all the way through to their award-winning Crack and Fury rum-infused hot sauce. Woo! Yeah. Start stacking your shelves and get ready for summer, and most importantly, save yourself some money with the code BB15. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
Awesome, yeah. So, my first butchery, like I said, I was lucky enough really to sort of come with some skills in that, working with a couple of amazing butchers that like I said, took us under their wing. The bonus was with the butchery. My first butchery I was in, there was a fair amount of whole carcass. We were mainly doing sort of a lot of venison butchery, so that was kind of like 40 in season. We were doing about between 20 and 40 bodies a week, depending on what being shot. So yeah, good amount of venison. So you soon got your knife skills. Up. But unfortunately, we didn't really do a lot else. We did a little bit of lamb. We didn't really do beef. Occasionally we would get maybe a top bit in. But again, we didn't really get my hands too much on it. So it was good grounding to kind of get your knife work sort of going, and a good understanding of the butchery. But kind of wanted more. And that's where McNade came up. They just opened a butchery in McNade. I won't go to the full details because I'll be here forever with it. But the long and short of it, I got offered a butcher's position, literally just a butcher, nothing senior or anything like that, at McNade. And it was like, yeah, absolute no-brainer. It's like, yes, please.
Cool.
So I took the butchery, job there, working with an amazing head butchery there, Roy, who'd been in the trade for so many years. Brilliant. And also, again, I'm sure I mentioned working with an amazing lad, Andy. Now Andy had been very high up in the MLC for most of his life. So for those who don't know, MLC is the Meat Livestock Commission.
Yep.
So Andy really took me under his wings, and it was insane. His knowledge was just phenomenal, to the point you take you into the fridge and he goes, "Oh, I'm going to teach you about grading now," and he goes, "Right, that's this is Europe, and we're going to work our way through Europe, and then we're going to look at the animal, and we're going to and I'll tell you, how to see what the conformation is looking like, how to see what the fat content's looking like," and it was brilliant. He'd worked with MOC, he'd worked on the line, so I remember watching him do a top bit of beef. I was like, it must have taken him 20 seconds to break it into primals. One nip on the top side, and it was straight off.
Yeah,
no knife, that straight off the seam, and and it was amazing. And so I spent a long time with Andy, sort of trying to understand it and learn it. And again, we had an old boy in the butchery as well. Rest his soul. He unfortunately is no longer with us, but. He'd a typical old boy butcher, been in the trade since he was 15. Run his, he worked with his dad's butchery locally, and then taken on his dad's butchery. And again, he took us under his wing as well. And it was brilliant actually, because you kind of saw two aspects of, I don't really know how to explain it. Shop butchery against line butchery, maybe. Sure. Yeah. Or abattoir.
Like a fusion.
Abattoir, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, it's amazing as you boys will know, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners know. There are some sort of key differences to the two. Really, on just. Really made sort of the processes, I suppose. Yeah. And it was kind of, you learn Andy's way, then you kind of learn George's way, and you finally get to a stage where you're like, actually, I'm really more comfortable doing it this way. And I'll give you the sort of the sad. This is my passion in butchery, and where I'm at the sad story. I remember laying in the bath, and you're just sitting there with the image of a forequarter in your head on the block, and you're like, going through at that point of how to break this thing down. Is like, right, if I do this first, if I do this next, if I do this next, if I do this next, until I got it absolutely nailed in my head. It was like, right, and now I know where that joint is, where that joint is, where that joint is, and then start putting it into real life,
Yeah. I did that as an apprentice as well. Is with the forequarter of beef, I used to just sit there and just constantly be obsessed with what is the most efficient way of how to take this apart, and trying to utilize and get my mind wrapped around where the actual like the actual anatomy was, and especially around the chuck as well, trying to get the knife in between the chuck and my hand movements and everything. I know every single bone is slightly different or just a bit chunkier or whatever it is, but it's getting that emotion and it's constantly being obsessed with it and just really pushing yourself. And the thing is as well, we always say here as well, it's backing yourself and just go for it. Just go for it. Just don't overthink it. Just go for it. And then you'll see results, and you'll see a different way, and then you progress in that aspect. And
I think you're right, mate. And that's exactly what I love. You're the same, a lot of the same. I remember doing, tons of stickings to do exactly that. And it's probably still one of my, crazy enough as that, still one of my favourite cuts. I love boning out the sticking. You get it just right, and you get every one of those bones. And it's again, we do it in the butchery now. It's that I try and mix up the way we butcher all the time. So sometimes I'll sheet it, sometimes I'll individually bone it, just to keep those kind of like them skill sets, and actually the fun as well. So sometimes you bone out a chuck, other times you'll sheet it, and it's great. Take a big brisket, sometimes I'll individually, and because I just think really good, just to kind of. I like in a moment as well, like you said, Ant, about most efficiencies. My biggest kind of nemesis next was kind of learning stuff off the hook, and I've done plenty of butcher off the block. But as you get older, and that bringing those bodies of beef into the butchery gets harder and harder.
I let gravity do its work. Butchery is like a woman. Gravity would do its work.
I learned last year. Believe it or not, this is how every day's a school day. It was only last year. I learned how to do the forecourt off a hook. In one way. But that was sort of doing the shin and the clod bone, and then going through the sort of the sticking, which was awesome. And then practicing and learning other ways over the last couple of months. And it's just been brilliant. Because you kind of like, and actually if you cut it here, but like you said, it's exactly that. It's having the confidence now, going just do it, because what's the worst case scenario? It's going to go into burgers or mince.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm exactly the same. I've only been doing really hook rail breaking for the last 3 years of my career, like consistently. And me and Dan, he's like, well, I never learned how to do it on the hook. And I was like, just fucking go for it. If you fuck it up, I'm going to kill you.
It's brilliant, but this is what I really, this is what I really enjoy. And we've got it with the other butchers. We've got Tony, who works for me. Again, amazing butcher. Never really hook, but he's got his absolute obsession with tri-tip, which is great. Let him run with it, and
let it go. Yeah,
we had all the bodies of beef come in the other week, and he's disappeared off. And where's he gone? He's come back out with like all these tri-tips, and he's like, I've done it. All the hook, and it's brilliant, because it's a symbiotic relationship. We're all learning together.
Every day I try and like find that one new thing, that little glimmer.
Yeah, exactly.
Of what it is. It could be the smallest little thing, but if you go, nice, add that to the arsenal. Yeah,
mine's trying to keep the bones cleaner. I know the seams and everything, but if I just like maybe get it at this point and maybe get like a different like tactic on how to like get a different strength to it and see how clean I can.
Bones is definitely one of my biggest. Just that care and attention now. I love that. And funny enough, actually, we was working with a butcher today. Again, who's been in the trade for a lot longer I have, and we're nipping out a fork quarter, and he was taking the blade off the blade bone.
Yeah,
and I remember one butcher showed me this little trick. Actually, if you kind of nip it around the top of that T-section of the blade bone, but then turn your knife and use the back of the knife.
Yep. Yeah,
it hits the seam without actually cutting through. Just bringing that stain. It was like, look, if you do this, you can grab it and just pull it straight off. And his face was like, I've been in the butchery for 20 odd years and I've never seen that. That's amazing. But it's great, isn't it? Because that's what it's about. Like I said, we're all learning. Every day's school day. Yeah, and there's a multitude of stuff we show me that.
And every carcass is different as well. Like, if that's the thing, like it's. That's the thing, like, being obsessed with it and knowing the ins and outs. But like I said, like each bone is a bit thicker or thinner or whatever. But it's like
you go for like a big old OTM 4/4, and where the shin's kind of welded itself onto. You're there for like an hour trying to snap this thing off, and you're like, it's not going. And then realise the point's nowhere near where you were, because actually it's trying.
You got to dig deeper, and try and go all the way down.
It's just, that's the beauty of the trade, don't it?
And
I think that's going back to the sort of chefing. The one thing I missed from chefing was the creativity. That you have that freedom to sort of create dishes on a daily basis, and in the butchery it was like, where do I go? But I like that variation. Being able to mix up the butchery on a day-to-day basis kind of gives you that same buzz. Yeah.
What was the sorry, I just want to go back to the chefing.
Yeah.
What was the creativity? Because you were saying about the last place, and like it was pretty full on and everything. But like, did you have
full freedom? It was, but creativity fluctuates. So most of the restaurants that I've worked in, either as a chef or head chef or senior chef, have been quite flexible and have allowed creativity no matter what the position. Of course, if going in as the head chef in a couple of restaurants, it is creative, but you're creating a menu. It's actually really difficult. It's not as straightforward as because you kind of want to, you're almost in yourself. You want to cook for yourself. So you create things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't work though. You need
Same as butchery.
Same as butcher. Yeah.
But you need to create for the customer and not yourself. And that's where, that was kind of some of the learning curves that I had is like, I might enjoy this, but the clientele I've got here this is not the clientele. So you kind of, that was just sort of a big learning.
Yeah. That's interesting.
You custom make it to their flavor and their preference.
Yeah.
So much yours.
Yeah. You can, but you can bend it and you can twist it, but there's only so far. You've got to understand your clientele and where you are, where the restaurant's located, etc. And that could be right down to the monetary value of a dish. If a dish is going to cost the customer £25, well, it's got to be a right dish, isn't it? And that kind of those kind of elements there. So creativity. Yeah, there is a lot of it. My last restaurant we had a lot of creativity. I always found myself in the kitchens always going back to classics though.
What's your classics?
I always customise your French classics, like your beef bourguignons, that kind of, that's a great, just an example of a classic, but your real kind of old school classic dishes, chicken, those kind of things.
What's the most creative dish that you put that?
Most creative dish?
Yeah,
the most insane dish that I ever did. It was, I don't know how to explain it. It was beetroot done in about 30,000 different ways. It was like, I can't remember. It was like pickled beetroot mousse, panda piece with beetroot, salt baked beetroot, beetroot crisp, beetroot puree. Yeah, it was like little elements of beetroot across the plate. Probably my favourite dish I've kind of done.
Wow.
And then other than that, probably not mine actually, but going back to Andrew Clark actually was... Use the French terminology, it was an assiette of school dinners, assiette being 3, and it was like 3 little school dinners, school desserts. And that was really cool because, kind of memory evoking, isn't it? Like your strawberry custard with your sponge kind of thing. So that was really cool. So, but again, for me, it's food always goes back to, that either classics or comfort food.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like comfort food? And
it's very true.
Yeah, you go through my gram and it's all, if you actually look at the food, 99% of it is comfort food. Whether that be bloody...
We're not talking about it. It's making me hungry. I'm not talking about it. It's making me hungry.
The short ribs are nice the other night.
No, you bastard.
Short ribs, leg of lamb, you name it.
Oh, good God.
Tonight's a fork for me at the moment. Those Scottish pigs we're getting in, they love it or hate it because they've got, I think they're like 30 to 40 mil scope. So again, for listeners who don't know, that's like scope is the middle of fat. So we're talking massive amounts, but it's incredible. Like the flavour on these things is just insane. When you cook it,
amazing.
Render that fat, and it's the fat is better than the meat. It's like the best steak you've ever eaten in pork.
And they definitely 40 scope is fucking unreal.
And you're talking Mangalitsen levels, but Mangalitsen, and then put the same kind of thing into a pure free range Berkshire.
Yeah, Berkshire.
Gamey, strong. It's like it's not bright pink. It's that dark,
purpley tinge.
Yeah, that's it. And ultimate kind of like flavour bomb of pork.
Also, I got to blame you as well.
Hungry now, that's it.
Yeah. No, fuck you. My wife said, she goes, "Oh, Simon, the butcher, he put up a lamb biryani," and I was just like, yeah, I haven't looked at the Instagram. She's like, "Oh, he tags you." I was like, "Yeah, every fucking time." And she's like, "Should we do it?" I was just like, "Have you got inspiration from him?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, he does a great page." And I was like, "Oh." And then I looked at it and I was just like, "You motherfucker." we literally, it was like half an hour or 45 minutes later, she had said that. And then I looked at your Instagram and I was just like, "Oh, I'm going to the fridge." Made myself some shit ass sandwich as well. Oh, man.
But there's a cool thing about Insta, Jeremy. I kind of started it as a bit of fun, almost like an online CV, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, it becomes a bit of a hook. For me, it's about things like this. It's not just professional networking. It's just chatting to people.
Yeah.
And like you said with Insta, you know, it's the people you can chat around the world. It's nuts, isn't it? Like you've said having a conversation with someone, you suddenly realise you're over in Australia. You're like,
or Iran as well.
Well, right, yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and then we've got, you know, I don't know, we've got obviously the Smoke and Fire Festival coming up.
Yeah,
Butcher Wars.
Yeah, we're all going to be there.
But how cool's that? Because in the fact, all right, Smoke and Fire is not off the back of Insta, but the fact we're all going to be there is virtually off the back of Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, how cool's that? Like Sizzle Fest, you know, again, that first when we all came into that off the back of Instagram. And
yeah, I was going to mention as well, it's just like you and I's background is how we met was through Sizzle Fest as well. Thanks to Ben Tyndall. Fuck you, Ben.
That first Sizzle Fest was bloody amazing though. That was probably a cracking day with it, and so much fun. Like, don't think any of us knew what we were really doing.
Yeah, no, but it was brilliant because you and me just like as soon as we just started talking, just went boom. We just clicked, didn't we? And I was just like, oh, where are you from? And you're like, oh, I'm from Kent. And then you're like, where are you from? And I was like, oh, I'm from Australia. He imported me. And you were just like, and then you looked at me like, you serious? And I was like, no. No, I live just down the road.
Just down the road. Yeah. I treated you to our steak and camping as well.
Mate, that beef was unreal.
Yeah, that was good, man. That was a cracking bit of beef, that.
It was a great beef. But yeah, speaking of beef.
Yeah.
Pasture for Life.
Yeah, awesome. So, Pasture for Life, where did it start? How did it start? So, Pasture for Life comes off the back of McNade's. So, when I started at McNade, they were just about affiliating with Pasture for Life. So, we was working with a lady called Fidelity Weston, so Fidelity was pretty much sort of heading up, or one of the big people within the Pasture for Life movement. So we were getting, at that time, you know, we were getting bodies of beef and Fidelity, nothing crazy. Like I said back at the beginning, you know, I think we were doing a side of beef once every 2 weeks, you know, when I first started. So nothing, you know, big volumes. And it was something we kind of rolled with. And then, you know, when I took over the butchery from the old butchery manager, it was something that we kind of sort of continued with. And we started going with a lady based in Essex, which was amazing, using her beef. And then started to really kind of get into it, and then started to think about the USP. And really, realistically, it was my boss, the owner, Stefano, who kind of was a catalyst for it. So Stefano's mission within McNade in life, you know, is to look at regenerative agriculture, regenerative culture, and sustainability across the whole board. So whether that be looking at zero plastic, or whether that be looking at where the products physically come from, whether be looking at carbon footprint, and his passion kind of just like naturally leaks into the butchery. And then he kind of, you know, got me thinking on the bigger pictures with it, and didn't really know too much about Pasture for Life, and started doing a bit more research into it, and was like, oh, this is really interesting. I really like what this is about. And then started to flow that whole principle throughout the whole butchery. Started doing the second question, everything. Yeah. Where the chicken's from, where's the pork from? Is it free range? What's it being fed on? What's the breed? And then, you know, we at that point we were buying in box bits or, you know, imported bits to top up the counter. And I don't look back on that. You know, we needed to do that to get the volume of the business in the place to be able to do what we're doing now. But, you know, it was starting to really question it. And then kind of Pasture for Life kind of just carried on expanding. And then we sort of, as the volume started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then, you know, we were soon sort of that side of beef once every couple of weeks soon became a body of beef once every 2 weeks. That soon became, you know, 2 bodies of beef a week. And then over the summer, that becomes 2.5 to 3 bodies of beef a week. And then you start to realize volumes are going through the roof, and you're like, wow, this is making some impact. And I don't quite know how it happened, but
was that fresh carcasses straight to you, or did they hang it for you?
No, it depends on timescales. When we started, it was coming semi-hung week or so. It was coming into us into this little minuscule fridge that we had, and we was, you know, having to do what a lot of small butchers do at that point, is bring it in, process it, sell it. didn't have that space. And as that volume increased, with the investment from the company came in, and we ended up with, this gigantic, well, I say gigantic, in my eyes, it's gigantic. I know there's much bigger ones out there, but, this great big fridge with this amazing railing system on it where,
Your fridge is pretty fucking impressive, mate.
It is cool.
Cool, yeah. It does its job. We've got the salt wall in there, which kind of came on. We'll go on to that later, but that came in sort of a year old now, actually. But it was really cool, and it kind of enabled us then to start hanging stuff for that longer periods. And then again, I'll go into hanging later because I'm a little bit maybe more controversial with a lot of other butchers. I hang my beef to how long the beef wants to be hung for, not how long it should be hung for.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Beef will tell you, beef will tell you how long it wants to be hung.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will tell you by straightforward. It will tell you by its grading. If it's got no fat on it, and it looks like venison, well, it ain't gonna hang, is it? Let's be honest.
It's not gonna hang.
You go mouldy before it. Vice versa.
I said that when I first got here to the UK as well, because you could tell by the grading, and there was some beef that was more fatty than others, and I was like, that's going to need an extra 3 to 4 weeks. That's going to need maybe 1 or 2. And then like people used to just look at me just like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. And then
you still get it. It's going to be 6 weeks or 7 weeks. Well, no, not necessarily. You can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it. It's intuition. Funny enough, I actually had that conversation with the BHO actually, which is quite interesting. Who were really and I hate to use the word intuition to them, but it is. He said and he said you look at the signs, and you can straight away when as soon as that body comes in, you know exactly how long in your head that's going to hang for.
Yeah.
And it's being mindful of the environment as well. Yes, we've got the salt wall. Yes, we've got a big added fan system in there. But if it's really humid outside, you've got to keep an eye on it. It might start.
How often is the door left open? How many people are in and out of the actual room?
Exactly.
You got to take into consideration of all those factors.
We don't just hang the beef in there. As you've seen from the Instagram photos, my pork and my lamb comes in hot, and you've got 5 bodies of pork coming in there hot that are wet.
Wet.
It's going to impact it. If you're curing bacon in there.
Just the little factors.
Is one of those factors that come into it, and that's for me where intuition comes in it, and using your senses.
I'm glad you said it as well, because I just thought I was just too obsessed or just too far gone in like this whole butchery world, and the butcher shops I work for just thought there's something wrong with me, and I was just like, so you put my mind at ease there.
I have a similar thing where I have to say if a client sends me a body of beef and I look at it and go, that's not going to last a week.
Yeah, right.
Or if there's something with like the eye on the forequarter that's bigger than my hand with a good inch of fat on it, I'm going to be like, that can take 6 weeks. Let's just leave that to sleep in the back of the fridge. Let it do its thing. Clients
I think you're right though, but it's having that understanding, isn't it? We had a body of OTM body of beef come in last week. Beautiful Welsh black come in, very small. I think the whole body came in at 274.
Wow,
which is really small. And you look at it, and again, you had a little bit of coverage on it, and go, that's got to go before the fresher beef, or before the older beef, or before the fresher beef. Sorry, we've got to get it used. It's not going to hang. Also being OTM, bless the abattoir, they have done a great job, but there's still that bone dust that's going up through, and you just kind of look at it and go, if we're not careful, that's going to turn.
And depends if it's been smashed apart as well.
Do you get a bit pedantic when it comes to, you see a bit of bone dust, you kind of give it a scrape or a wipe, or you kind of just leave it?
It depends how bad it is.
To
be honest, like if it's bad, then I'm not massively pedantic about it. I'm more, I do kind of like when the OTMs come in, we'll make sure that if the fillet is half hanging out, which invariably they are, we'll whip the fillet out, get that retail literally straight away. If it needs a bit of clean up, or if it even needs rump and loining, so it kind of hangs in then we'll do that. But no, to be honest with you, the main abattoir we're with at the moment are really bloody good. They take really good care over it. And I haven't actually had a bad OTM come in from them. Yeah, it's all been really, really good stuff. So,
Brilliant.
Would you take the neck off for that week's mince by any chance?
yeah.
There you go. Right, let's take those. They're not going to ask.
No, but it goes back to the intuition again, doesn't it? It's looking and understanding. It goes to that bigger picture of carcass balance as well, understanding, what you're going to get back for it and how you're going to get back from it. And
I feel so at ease after hearing you say that as well, and then we can talk about it because
I love that you just said intuition. But I'm like,
intuition.
That's it. That is it. That's what all butchers get.
I think it is though, isn't it? Don't get me wrong. There has to be systems, procedures, and there has to be rules.
100%.
100%. Where our job is not just in serving the most best meat in the world. It's also ensuring
providing the quality,
providing a safe environment, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there has to be, but there is also that massive element of intuition. That's what we train for. That's what we do. It's what we look for. And again,
it's what separates us from the others in a way.
Yeah, and it's that pre-carcass inspection, isn't it? You bust up the side of pork on your block, and you're going to bang into sausages. You'd always pre-inspect that carcass, wouldn't you?
That sausage, that's
the line with a blindfold on and go, that's all going in. You pre, and that's the same thing, isn't it? It's sausage is a great one for us. We set there with 2 trays. One gets the fat, one gets the lean, and then we literally, so you've got as consistent as we can make it, which is bloody difficult when you've got 30-40 mil scope pigs. But
you just freeze the rest of the pork fat or render it down for like the pork.
No, we're really good, but the pork fat's really good. So there's a guy, and again, I'm sorry what mine's name. Luke might know him actually, James Billing, who does a lot of venison butchery down actually Tunbridge Wells direction.
So we've got
a relationship with James.
Name.
So we save all of the
hi James.
We save all the Berkshire pork fat, and then James takes it for his charcuterie and sausages and burgers.
Awesome.
So it's a bit of a symbiotic relationship. It doesn't go to waste. So what we can't use will go to him. And it will go in. If you put a post up on social media all day with his burgers and venison sausages with the Berkshire fat, so it's really cool, And that's again, that's the kind of relationships we're trying to follow with the other butchers. We kind of get rid of that old school competition approach of like, oh, don't talk to him or don't go there kind of approach. It's like help each other out. Yeah. It's hard enough if it is right now with pricing. I think we've got to help each other out.
Well, that's what I did in the area I was as well, here in Dorset. There was just like, there was 4 other butcher shops. All 3 of them were the traditional kind of orientated ones. And if I didn't have a certain material that someone wanted, I'd call all 3, but they were like, why are you calling me? Like, and I was just like, no, I'm trying to build a relationship because we're all in the same game. You got something different that my customers want. I've got something different that your customers want. Like, we're trying to build that relationship.
We've still got it. This where Matt and Aid is, we've got 4 butchers in our town, including us. But we all do something very different. Which is great. We've all got a kind of separate USB, and we've got, again, I won't name names them because it's not fair on, but we've got quite a big famous butchery in Faversham, who's got quite a few butcheries dotted around the Kent. And they're really good. I was speaking to the guy who's running the butchery at the moment. Actually, I saw a Buntum actually. And he was like, look, anything you boys need, just give us a call.
That's what I always said as well in my shop. It was like, if you guys need, because when I first opened up, I went to all 3 of them, and I was just like, hi, my name's Anthony. I own Dorset. Like, if there's anything you need,
it's the way it
please let me know. Yeah, then all of them would just help put it.
Oh, we had it last year. My mincer went kaput halfway through the busiest sausage making day last year, and it was kind of like load up all the mixes in the back of my car and get them to the other butcher to run them through his mincer. And he was like, "Yeah, no worries. As long as you clean up afterwards, go set yourself up."
Call you when that was happening. You're like, "Oh, buddy, I hope you're okay, but I got to load up the mincer." I think I was like, "What's happening?" He's like, "Oh, it's going kaput," and I was just like, "Oh, okay, I'll let you go." And he goes, "No, I love you, bye."
But that, to me, that's what it's about, isn't it? We've got to help each other out, and going back on to sort of the original question of Pasture for Life, and that's something that I'm looking with the role that I'm in now is kind of helping the education side of things as well now.
100%.
Giving that point of contact for education on exactly what we're saying, intuition. What as butchers, how do we work with varying carcasses for argument's sake. What can we do? What's the options you've got? And it's bloody love it.
Yeah, fucking A, man. So pasture for life.
Yeah.
So
we should go back to the original questions. So
sorry.
It kind of evolved through, and the bodies were, we was increasing. We got this new fridge and started really kind of getting into it. And then I can't honestly remember how it all happened, but got invited to join a butcher's call with Pasture for Life, and it was once a month with a group of butchers and the representatives from the south and southeast for Butchers for Life, or Pasture for Life, sorry. And I'm naming the butchers as well because I'm sure they won't mind. But we were working with like Simon Taylor. He was sitting on there with us. First time I met Simon. We were working with like garlic wood butchers, that kind of those kind of things. Greens butchers. Quite a few Craig Hammonds, the rest around the corner from us.
And Charlie from Flock and Herd as well.
Charlie was on there. Yeah. I think did you come on the look as well? I can't remember.
No, I didn't come on the Zooms, but I was like, hey, everybody at the meeting.
And that's kind of where it was kind of started. And then as those meetings were kind of going on, and I started, goes back to intuition, started quite opinionated, and started kind of going, well, hang on a minute. As butchers, this is what we need to see, and this is the kind of it was looking at every angle with it with these meetings, because the idea was like how to join the farmers in unison with the butchers, and the butchers in unison with the farmers. And we were hitting so many stumbling blocks, stupid things like transportation from the abattoir to the butchery. How do you get a carcass once it's from the abattoir to the butchery? Those kind of areas there. Consistency, pricing, all of those kind of things. It was quite hard hitting. Going the farmers, they're going, we need to put more on it. We go, well, actually, you can't put any more money on it until the consistency is better, because the consistency we're getting in a moment is only worth this amount to the customer.
You're talking about the consistency of the composition of the animals.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really interesting, and we kind of, these meetings were about good 2 or 3 years, really. I think of sort of going back and forwards, and we made some really big inroads into it. Got to we started looking at like crib sheets. So we've got this is what Pasture for Life is. This is the health benefits that we had proven on it. This is the regenerative side. This is the environmental impact that it has, etc. And that was really good. Then sort of networking through, and like say again, I will mention Simon. Got to do a lot of stuff with Simon, physically going down to farms and doing video shoots and starting to. And then it was starting to really get into this. It's like, actually, this is really exciting. Starting to speak to Sam Newington, our main farmer, and he's talking about mob grazing and how he grazes animals, and then going down to the farm itself and going, look, this is how we choose an animal ready for slaughter. And you start then sort of forming those opinions on the farm as well, going, actually, it's amazing, the way they look at it, and they're not weighing them in, or because there's no kind of force feeding to get them to the right weight. It's they're ready when they're ready. So it goes back to OTM. If it's OTM, it's OTM. It's the animal's ready when it's ready. But it's that farmer's intuition and knowledge, isn't it? So they go, actually look at the shape of their forequarter, look at the hindquarter, look at the back, feel the back. Can you feel the fat content over sort of the H bone, that kind of thing? And it just becomes a real, just again like chefing, I suppose, it becomes really interesting. And then you start looking at the carcasses when they're coming into your butchery in a completely different light. And then it gives you that utmost respect even further for the carcasses. And again, more sentimentally, done a lot of, obviously, like a lot of people, tasting between, grain fed, which is either USDA sort of 100% grain, to normal sort of grain finish against pasture. And I do prefer the pasture animal in a flavour. I think it has a more rich, dynamic flavour than necessarily grain fed. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a grain finished animal in a lot of respects. It's not what we do, and it's not what I'm about. But I don't really find that there's as much intensity of flavour from a grain finish to, say, a pasture animal. But we also understand, the consistency. We had great, when you came down to the meeting, look, great sort of back and forwards on that consistency, the pricing. We know, finishing animals on pasture is hard. There's
a bit of a dark art to it, isn't there?
Yeah, and this is where I'm really kind of starting to enjoy it even further. Some of the things we're looking at the moment is breeds, and is it indicative to, if it's British native breed, we find they tend to finish better on pasture than, say, something that's been not necessarily crossed, but non-native.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And it's looking at all those different angles, and the differences in pasture from even a mile away can be phenomenal.
Right.
And like you say, the dark arts, and Sam Newington, and he will kill me for saying this, my main farmer, he's got this magic wand.
He does.
I don't know what he does, but
Nigel was like, there's something that man does that we just don't know what he's doing.
I don't know. Every single quality of beef I have from it is absolutely cracking.
Yeah.
Spot on. Go to the old school grading, R4L, straight down the middle. Perfect shape, coverage. I don't know what Sam does. We can't go to spot him. I bought some of Sam's beef the other day, so I thought it was quite funny. But yeah, Sam's good. But then, Sam's now starting to kind of obviously start to educate other farmers slowly but surely. He's a quiet gentleman, Sam. To get him out of his shell is very hard, but he's now starting to sort of put education. We're starting working with Ollie Martin as well. Again, not a million miles from you, I don't think.
Oh yeah, for Danefold.
So we start working with Ollie as well, and again, it's like, what can Sam do to help Ollie? Ollie was openly honest on the phone to me the other week and say, I'm struggling finishing my animals. But it's good because that's what it's about, is that networking. So if Sam can work with Ollie, and then we can start getting that kind of symbiotic relationship. But
100%.
It's really cool. It's for me with Pasture for Life, it's the two main elements really. It's the environmental regenerative aspects of the actual farming processes. The hedgerows coming back in with this massive diversity of wildlife. It's absolutely incredible. The smaller herds of cattle, that kind of area, and then it's the health benefits. It's the omega-3 benefits that you get from the beef, the B vitamins that you get from it. To be able to stand on your butchery counter and sell a piece of beef as a source of omega-3 is insane. Yeah,
brilliant. We'd have thought that. We'd have thought that 10 years ago.
To tell a customer that a piece of red meat is actually good for them.
Yeah,
it's better than fish.
It's brilliant. Sort of on that Pasture for Life, then it was probably a few months ago now. I had a message from Angus, who a massive part of Pasture for Life, saying, invited me to become an ambassador for Pasture for Life. Which is also...
You deserve it, mate.
The dream didn't come true, if I'm honest.
Wow.
So, again, it was just a nice email saying, thank you for your hard work and everything you've done, recognition, and we'd like you to become an ambassador for Pasture for Life. And obviously he said, yeah.
Couldn't have been more proud of you, mate. You deserve it. When you think of Pasture for Life, you just immediately just go Simon Maynard.
Yeah,
that's it. It's just like Pasture for Life, Simon Maynard. And if you want to know anything, or you want to talk about it, or you want to do anything, it's just like Simon Maynard. Like, it is. Yeah, I'm so proud of you, mate. You deserve it.
Cheers, man.
You've worked so incredibly hard.
It's good, you can be like, for me, like I say, it's not about me. This is about now being that point of networking. And I want to, as it goes on, I want to be that kind of networking point that people can kind of just pick up the phone and go, help me, go positive, negative, or whatever, and be able to kind of maybe teach some of that intuition. Kind of, so if you look at this or look at this, and then right down to the points of like, have you tried this farmer, or have you looked at this breed, and then that's kind of where I want to sort of see it, kind of really kind of being that support network on the retail end.
Yeah, definitely.
For it, it's like you said, and you both know as well as I know, it's hard bloody work. Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing about the Pasture for Life, Simon. There's a few things I want to ask you as well, because of the balance that you bring to the butchery, as well as like keeping people interested. Like, what kind of training do you do? Because of the product that you have is so immense. Is it like some sort of like training methods, or how do you keep people interested in what you do?
It's a difficult question. It's a balance between that person and what we're doing and what we're offering. Is the thing. So there's two sets of people. There's staff members and there's customers. Yeah. So as a staff member, as in training, we've got training programs that we set. which are a lot of it is quite old school orientated. So, it depends on the level they're coming into the butchery in the first place. So, that training program may be breaking out breasts of lambs whilst learning the counter. The biggest thing for me is any training program and interest is actually learning the counter first before you learn it. So you understand, what a ribeye looks like, or what a sirloin steak looks like, or what a pork chop looks like, because then you can start relating it back to, obviously, when you're on the block. Education is one of the main kind of keys is kind of showing him the whole carcass and, what you can get out of a whole carcass. Getting him on the knife in the basics. I like, when you're doing sort of, right, so we're going to break up pork for sausage trim, but I want you to break up that pork and we're going to break it up as if you're breaking up, like, say, a top bit of beef. Yeah. Those kind of elements. So, when you break that leg of pork, I want you to seam out the top side, seam out the silver side, seam out the thick.
How big is your pork then?
Yeah. But you can always seam it out, you can seam out a leg of lamb and do the same principles. And the argument, with the boys is that, as they're learning it, is that actually this is how you're going to get onto the top bit of beef, because when you do that, it's all translatable. Yeah. It's the bigger seam, isn't it? It's just a bigger animal. So, really it's about, we're lucky with where I am at McNade is that we've got the whole shop, so the interest can be kept across the whole shop. You can go to a day in the kitchen, or you can go to a day in the deli. And again, because we've got that USP of whole carcass butchery, you've got that interest. But one of the biggest things for me, it goes back to what we're saying, chefing and creativity, is letting the butchers have their creativity. Yeah, sure. So it's they want to do something, we'll do it. Sure, give it a go. And it's difficult, but it's trying to not put those barriers. It's like, in my eyes, as long as it's not going to physically harm or kill somebody, then run with it. Yeah. What's the worst we're going to do? It's going to get transformed into mince or into a burger. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So run with it. That's kind of it. That's the main thing, isn't it? And it's crazy. It's like the window or the counter, we would have called it. It's
you do some stunning counters,
but every one of us sets it up different. Yeah. And you go into a lot of butchers, and it's all very regimented. That's where it gets set up every day. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. And it's not about that for me. It's like, I'll set it out one way, but the other butcher will set up another way. And I like that kind of freedom. And it also then creates that kind of, the customers will go to the butchery that they like, the butchers that they like the most. Oh, can you serve me? Or can you serve me? And I like that.
Yeah. So there's that rapport that they have with each butcher, exactly, that they attach themselves to as well, because that personally comes with it. Yeah.
Pork chops is a great example. I cut Magoo pork chops because I love it. Another butcher cuts them, will cut them quite small and quite thin and that, but they will both go in a counter. Yeah. It serves those kind of spider webs of trade, doesn't it? And I think that's the main thing. And it's constant communication, making sure that there's variety in the work. I've got to be honest, there is also that element, like I said, of that old school approach of, the apprentice butchers we got. Do you know what? He won't clean the fridge every week because we'll take turns, but he will be cleaning the fridge. He will be helping scrape down the blocks in the night. He will be, sweeping the floor. He will be, turning the bacon every day, because there are elements of that training process that you've got to get into those regimented forms of that understanding process, So we will kind of make sure that, bacon's my apprentice's job at the moment. And it's because I really like that idea of it has to be turned every day. It's got to be checked every day. It's got to be hung for this amount of time. It's got to be, because I think it's really good for them to get those kind of regimented processes.
Yeah. So speaking of your apprentices, so that you do have your apprentices, and how do you keep them interested? Like, I want to backtrack to, you've got them turning the bacon, you've got them like learning a little bit of like the window displays, you've got them talking to customers, you've got them doing all those odd bits and pieces, but how do you keep them interested? Like, how do you set yourself from the other four butchers?
Yeah, praise and reward is a lot of that kind of thing. And then constant education, answering the questions, letting them ask the questions. feeding them that information, getting them excited about the product and going, this it's a bit like an M&S advert, this isn't just beef. It's,
No, hit me with the M&S, baby. Go on.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, M&S, Mac-Made, and Simon. Look at us go.
Crushed it.
It goes back to what we say about intuition, but it's showing them that passion of going in the fridge and going, look at this, how would you break this down? And going in the fridge today is go, right, I'm going to nip this forecourt off a hook. Can you come give us a hand? And then they start seeing it, and hopefully that kind of enlightens a passion to want them to do it. So,
yeah.
And then they start asking, we'll start asking those questions on, what is bar and truffle life? Where's it from? Why is this? And it's just constantly filter feeding that information down.
Yeah, it's creating good habits, isn't it?
Creating good habits, yeah. It's
that's what I've found.
It's difficult, because there is that harsh side of it that they've got to learn those systems, routines. And the most important thing in the butchery is the cleanliness and the hygiene. Yeah, let's be honest.
Oh God, cleanliness and hygiene
out and above everything else.
Yeah,
most people come in and learn how to cut a piece of beef and put some meat on a kebab. Yeah.
Yes, Luke and I have said that. What? Maybe 14 episodes, maybe 13 episodes. It's it has to be pristine. It has to be clean.
Yep,
because you can work it. You can work in an environment. Yeah,
I'm like UCD, and I like things like square on and stuff like that. And it's for me that's the most important lesson that they've got to learn.
Yeah, agreed.
That's it.
Do you give your apprentices like half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour, or something to create something, or do you just give them homework to say,
we're not quite at that stage yet with the apprentice that I've got, but that will come.
Cool. Would you give them that freedom?
Yeah, 100%. When that skill set gets to the skill set, again, not the skill set necessarily of thinking about the product, but the physical skill set. When they physically understand whether it be a sausage, like if I mix this amount of rust with this amount of hydration, and when we get those in, then yeah, definitely. Or we want to do something, I don't know, we want to stuff a pork loin with an avocado. I don't know.
Yes, an avocado.
You know what? Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because again, it goes back to that principle of what's the worst going to happen. That pork loin, we're going to take the avocado out, we're going to turn the pork into mince, it's going to go into sausages. It might go into an avocado and pork sausage, you never know. But
yeah.
They'll go brown.
Exactly. Yeah, you've got to, and again, it's working on those, that kind of premises of what's the worst that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Agreed. There is, yes, of course, there's limitations when it comes to that freedom of, I'm not going to chuck them a rump of loin and go, right, now you're going to stuff that sirloin with or you're going to bone out that, say, the fillet out and then roll the fillet in, or butterfly it, whatever. Yeah, there's limitations, but predominantly, no, there's not. There's that freedom. So give it a go. They've got to learn.
Yeah.
Do you give your butchers like the same freedom if they're like, oh, I want to trial this sausage?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I thought you would.
Right. Some of the combinations they've come up with are bloody brilliant. Yeah, we've had some epic wins. We've had some epic fails.
Give us one of each.
Go on, give us one of each.
So an epic win was one of our other butchers did it was a chicken and jalapeno style sausage.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And it was amazing, man. It was like just, we got the balance was just absolutely spot on. The epic fail was actually mine. I think I put it on the gram and actually was like, this is amazing. It was awful. Did red Thai and pineapple sausage.
Oh, yeah, the red curry one with the pineapple. Yeah,
it was great, but
that was ages ago.
Right, so go back into my nerdy food science. Right, what does pineapple do to meat?
It's acidic and it eats.
Yeah, just describes that.
What does pineapple do to sausage skins?
It fucking deteriorates it.
You cook these things up and you just end up with this mash of meat and no skin. It was one of those kind of things I didn't think about it.
Oh, did you use fresh pineapple?
Yeah.
Yeah, you dickhead.
What did you use pineapple in meat? You use pineapple to tenderise meat, yeah?
Yeah, no, definitely. No, that's brilliant.
But epic fail. And I was like, why is these not working? Why are these just exploding? And it was sudden epiphany of like, oh yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh. We love
you know, but that's what it's got to be about, isn't it? Like I said, every day's a school day.
Yeah, now we know. That's it.
Thanks to Simon.
You say apprentices, but it doesn't matter really. You know, apprentices are a difficult one to talk about because obviously they are still at the learning stage where, you know, as a butcher. But the team we've got now, like, it goes back to what we were saying earlier in the conversation, the tri-tips. They're taking the blade off of the blade by the seam and pulling it straight off. You know, these are all I'm not going to word qualified. I hate that word. All experienced butchers.
Experience is a good way of putting those.
And you know, it's that none of us know everything. You know, all of us know about that much.
Yeah,
it's like, what else can we learn? And that's the way we go back to the very beginning of the conversation of what's the next level of back made. Well, us learning together to create next products.
Yeah, 100%.
That is literally, excuse the pun, the bare bones of it. You know, we've all got varied experience, and a great example for me is goes back to that butchering off the hook. I don't know a lot of butchering off the hook, and one of our young butchers only really ever butchered off the hook, and he was like, "Well, come I'll show you." And
amazing.
Hierarchy doesn't matter, yeah.
No,
just because I'm running the butchery or whatever doesn't necessarily mean a thing. You know, it's you've got butchers in there who've got way more experience than I have in a butchery.
Yeah, you're all in it together. The only
exactly.
Right, there's no,
and you say about excitement as well, but you know, again, the other thing for our butchers is a lot of the butchers get excited by social media and names. You know, it's when you kind of say stuff like this, and I was talking to bearded butchers the other week, and
love Chris.
Yeah. And my other butcher, Tony, and my team was like, "Oh, I love Chris and that, and exactly that." And he was like, "Well, chat to him. You know, this is like,
yeah."
Well, Chris has just moved over to Slaughter, which is awesome.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
because I was speaking to him as well, and he was just like, he's like, "Oh, how'd you get around like just skinning the hoofs and everything?" I was just like, you just find the knuckle, and then you just kind of follow what you think is right to yourself. And he's like, "Oh, is it easy to use a straight edge, or is it easy to just use a skinner or whatever?" I was just like, it's whatever you find it to be. It's like there's no right or wrong way. It's just like whatever you find is helpful. Whatever has the sharpest tip, whatever you spend the most time on doing your knife, it works. And he's just like, all right, that's helpful because you got the skinner knives, obviously, and then you got like your boning knives, and you got your straight edge, and you got your curves and everything as well.
Yeah.
And then
you're pretty much telling him to just fucking run with it and have a go.
Yeah, no, definitely, because he's got all those beautiful Victory knives, and but the Victory knives are just their range is so expansive, and it's just a beautiful range that they have. Like they got like all those pro grips to the straight edge to the bull knives, like everything. It's just
what you're comfortable with, surely.
Yeah, exactly. Also, he'd been in the trade like 20-some years as well, and he's asking me as well. Like I've been like in the trade 18
that's
years.
really cool. But that goes back to saying that's what the trade's about, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just to help each other out fundamentally. And
there's like that stigma, isn't there? It's just like that strange stigma. It's just like, oh, someone online who's got like 10,000 followers or whatever, like, oh, I can't talk to them. It's just like, no, no. If there's anything, it's just like Luke will tell you, I'll talk to anyone with like 1 million followers and I'll message them. I don't give a fuck.
No. You're human beings at the end of the day, aren't they?
Exactly right. Yeah,
we're all scrubbing out a fridge at the end of the week as well. No one's above it. No one's above anyone.
Yeah, that couldn't. No truer words are said there. That's 100%.
No, you nailed that, Luke. That's brilliant.
No,
thanks. 100% of that. But it's a really difficult question to answer, you know, because there's so many aspects that goes into creating that environment and creating that excitement into the products and that. But fundamentally it is a two-way street as well. They have to have excitement and passion in it as well, as far as I'm concerned, and they've got to have a want to learn. You got to want to learn, and you got to have that drive for food as well. And I think passion for life, mate, and like the ground zero is basically where you are. And another reason, a bit of an arrogant reason for doing what we're doing, excuse that pun again, it's a dying trade. There's so few butchers now doing it to the extent that we're doing it, doing it as
100% whole carcass across the whole board. And it's kind of like, for me, it's about keeping that element of the trade alive.
100%.
I want to keep that skill set. We said it. Luke and I were talking, earlier on the fact that it's so difficult to find butchers at the moment.
Yeah,
and that's exactly it. It's a dying trade. It's a hard trade. We know it is. You know the work that goes into it and the hours and the manpower that goes into it.
Yeah.
And the difficulties it is to get that carcass balance and actually get money made out of it as well. We've got to keep it going. We've got to keep this trade, going properly. And
the world-oiled machine needs the discipline. That's what it needs.
Yes, 100%. Exactly that. And and again, it's that link into that pasture for life again, isn't it? It's we're doing it, and we're trying to do it. And you're going to stick my neck on the line. We're trying to do it the right way. Looking at the ethics and everything that we're trying to do, and the breeding, the husbandry, the whole shebang. Whether it's pork, chicken, lamb, beef.
The way I see it is that the way pasture for life is trying to do things is actually getting back to basics. There's nothing new. There's agriculture out of it, and it's just you're doing it small scale, but properly. You're doing what people would do many, many years ago. Selective breeding of what you think would be the healthiest, happiest animal with the best conformation, and doing it in the most natural way possible. Which is 100% grass fed, and it's just getting back to what really matters. You're
exactly right, and the irony for me in the butchery is that it's a bit of a cliche that you're trying to operate a business, but eat less, but eat better.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's
I said that as well in my shop as well. Eat less.
That's all facts. Don't get me wrong. Of course, I want 1 million customers coming in a day, but you don't. I want people to come in and eat less meat, but understand what they're actually eating.
Yeah,
and eat better quality, and that's I'd rather they came in once a week, every week as a consistent and understood what they're actually eating. Than going to I'm gonna again stick my neck on the line, going to supermarkets and having the wool pulled over their eyes and a lot of things.
And it's that plastic. That plastic is bullshit. It's
the latest craze. I've still again I go stick a neck on the latest craze of supermarkets is back in the mints. We see that. Yeah. And it looks like this all mush.
We do that for most of our clients.
But that's different. Yours is completely different.
Half kilo packs.
Yeah, yours is completely different though. Like your whole dynamic is completely.
It is a completely different business model.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, it's completely different. Like we're not taking that away from what you do, Luke, at all, and we love it. But it's just like when you're talking about the front of house, you got a full counter and everything as well. But when someone slaps at like $2.50, like half pound to a pound of mince, and it's just like it's cryovac and this sloppy, like bullshit. You're just like, what's the point of?
But that's and hitting the nail on the head though. That's where the difference is. Well, what you're doing, Luke, is from quality animals, from quality butchery, and to be honest, like the supermarket stuff, it's just not, is it? It's just.
If you were to go to me, Luke, oh, I've got this quality beef. It's been hung for 4 weeks. And then you minced it and then gave me the actual mince itself. And then I tried that against the supermarket. You get 110%.
I mean, you're saying that when I'm in the supermarket, I try and, if I'm buying mince, it's going to be organic. But it still looks like a wet sack of shit. Like I've not found. I think
the rectangle. Also, when shopping,
I did find Morrison's were doing some good mints in the recyclable possible trays. That was actually
also Morrison's are bringing in that New Zealand lamb as well. When they it was just like a couple of days ago. They're like, oh, we're bringing in New Zealand lamb and everything. And it's like, hang on, you guys like 2 or 3 months ago were just banging on us about like the carbon footprint and trying to keep it local, and you just support British farmers. Like
it's a loophole. There's something on. We are trialing New Zealand lamb when they've been buying that for the last 20 years. Because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's a loophole to make people go, oh right, okay.
I think that's the thing, and that's the on that kind of thing. That's what one of the things that I find really frustrating is the whole labelling.
Yeah. Their labelling is fucking criminal.
They're not doing anything wrong. They're covering, but there's so many ambiguities and loopholes.
Yeah.
Easily just pull the wall.
Yeah.
It goes back to actually grass fed, isn't it? That one really winds me up. You go to the market, say smack bang on their grass fed beef. Well, it's not 100%, is it? It's been out on some grass, but it's like a grinding stuff.
It might have started in like 16 months or maybe 10 months. It was on grass.
Exactly. And then it's been pumped for the grain at the end of it. It's like, and then again, I'd be lying. There is a percentage split, and I can't remember whether it's 60-40 or something like that. But there's a percentage split, but because the marketing's so strong that grass fed, and you've got this natural assumption that this animal's been out all his life on his lovely, nice pastures and that, and you're like, no, it hasn't.
See, I didn't want to bring it up, but
you have.
Because we're like basically on the fact of like labeling and everything as well. I did like a handful of research about like the red tractor. There we go. The pair of your faces just said it. It was like red tractor is just a load of schmullocks. Yeah, exactly. But you can't say red tractor free range. You can't say red tractor. It like, do you know what I researched about the red tractor certifiers? And the red tractor certifiers just don't even go out to the farms. They just say, oh yeah, that farm's just doing the bare bones.
Bare minimum to get there, yeah.
And then,
but it goes back, to kind
and
of...
it makes pasture for life, sorry, Simon, but it makes pasture for life go, but why should I invest into it? Because red tractor said otherwise. It's all these other labels that are getting into the way and just making their headway because they got such a strong marketing team and they're all on TV and everything, and they're just straight up in your face, where pasture for life is over here in the background.
Yeah, I think that's why there's two aspects to it. That's why it's so important now to be bringing this culture of butchers back, actually going to your butchers, because we can talk to people properly. Yeah, and like you said, it's it's about getting the ambiguities away from the labelling and actually being very concise. That's why we've called it, as in the organisation, pasture for life. Pasture being
it's for our life, our generation. Your generation, next generation. It's
exactly. You've got the life side, and then you've got the pasture side, which is all encompassing. Wild grasses, all of it is all encompassing. It's not not just these animals out in grass. It's all encompassing. So it's just really having that kind of clear cut messaging. This is what we're doing. These animals, and it's that 100%
traceability.
Yeah, exactly. Traceability
is like, and that's what I had at my shop as well. Like, I've been to the farm, I know the traceability, I know the rotation of all the yards. Like, that was it. And that's how I could sell my product as well. But it's also,
it goes back to the whole butchery approach with the retail. It's something that I'm a massive believer in, is that honesty and integrity.
Yeah, on end.
It's about not pulling the wool over the customer's eyes in any shape.
Yeah,
we've had to top up on primals because again, as you both know, your whole carcass only produces 2 ribeyes and 2 sirloins.
Yeah. I wish they had 6.
Well, don't we all? We do, but again, and there's nothing hidden on this podcast. We do still top up occasionally because primals sell quicker, as we know, and we top up through Longcroft and Old, through Stoddards, and we went with them because they had that traceability on their products. Where the Stevie and Longcroft can tell me the animal, the age, everything about that. And it's that kind of, it's that next kind of like, do you know what? It may be not pasture. We accept that because we know we need to top up and there's a demand for it. But we've got the whole traceability story behind it. And for us on the counter, it's about that honesty and integrity. If someone says, there's no kind of like this, how to explain it? We tie pasture for life colour in a different colour string. It all goes in green, and anything that's not pasture for life goes in red. To display where you got key indicators to knowing what's what. And then we're just honest. If a customer asks, or when they ask, it's absolutely straight down the line. This is pasture, this isn't, but this is, and these reasons. But
yeah, education.
Well, you won't get customer confidence if you try and pull the wool over their eyes.
You wait. Like if you lie to them once and you've done 100 great things, they always remember that one bad thing that you ever done. It's a customer way. It's just like any service that we provide.
Exactly, and that's it. I want that open and integrity, and I want that honesty, and we want to be 100% pasture for life across the board. That's our ultimate goal. But we also realise that there's a stepping stone to get there.
100%. And Johnny Farrell said it as well. Us as butchers doing what we do, and when we're doing an honest product, we are skating on thin ice.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they could just, like a flick of a switch, just go elsewhere and do whatever. Johnny Farrell was very honest with that.
It's so right. But that goes right down to even pricing. It's it's expensive. Some things can be expensive. We know what lamb prices at the moment are through the bloody roof, aren't they?
How much they've gone up for lamb?
They've gone up again.
I'm not going to say, because we're relatively lucky. Well, actually, no, we're more than relatively lucky that our farmer just farms pretty much for us. So we've got about 600 odd lamb that are just ours.
Yeah.
So our pricing is still good. Actually, still very good in comparison to where market is sitting right now.
Please tell me.
I think £6.20 a kilo's pretty damn good right now.
I know, everyone's going to be buying that lamb from you and selling it off.
Oh my God! Can I please take a whole lamb?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but again, it goes back to this farmer butcher relationship. We've been working with farmer family for ever since we've had the butchery. We originated with Al Palmer's dad, Rob, who was the original farmer. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, and his son Al took over the farm, and we've been working hand in hand with Al, ever since. It's a win and lose situation. That the lamb prices stay the same whether it's hog it or new season. So he loses a little bit on new season, but he wins out on hog it.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah,
take that, crush it.
It works really well, and we've just got a really good relationship. Al's main is arable side of farming. He's got quite a bit of arable, does a lot of contract farming, but he's always kept his lambs going, and it's brilliant. He drops his lambs off every week for us, locally slaughtered. You see from the Instagram again, these big old Texel crosses as well, so they're nice. They're bloody lovely. Yeah, big old beasts of lambs. At the moment they're coming in. Well, they're still hog it at the moment, and they're coming in. Not so big actually, about between 29 and 35.
It's still pretty chunky. Wow,
it's pretty chunky. Where's the Texel in there, baby?
Oh, we had a 46 come in the other week.
Oh my words!
I try and dig out a photo, dig it across. Is that you see the hindquarter, and it's just like,
you'll be seaming that beast out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're lucky with lamb. Lamb's really difficult at the moment. I've spoken to, as you probably both have, varying butchers over the last few months or weeks, and speaking to butchers the other day, you would say if he keeps going off, we're physically going to take it off the counter.
Yeah, if it gets any closer to £10 a kilo, it's going to be gone. People aren't going to want to buy that,
which is crazy, isn't it? Because
zero profit.
We're supporting our farmers, and where does it sit? It's hard, isn't it? Because we want to support the farmers, and they need to get what they deserve, 100%. But at what point does that pricing structure outweigh what a customer's willing to pay, and then you're sending them straight back to Morrison's for the New Zealand lamb? Yeah,
precisely. That's it, isn't it?
And we don't want to be doing that. And this goes back to the path of life, and this is where I really, and again, I'm sure they won't mind me saying it, I really want to kind of work with this role and get this yin yang balance. It's got to be a balance of what a customer's willing to pay, what we can push that customer to what the farmer actually needs and deserves, and we've got to find that. We've got to find that happy medium.
Definitely.
The lamb situation right now is ridiculous, and it's not going to do the farmers any favours, because they'll end up with the butchers not even buying their lamb.
Yeah.
So it's a lose situation for everybody. Yeah.
Will they be buying in that box lamb and legs and hindquarters?
I'm seeing it, and again, I won't mention butchers' names, but I am seeing it from some good butchers at the moment that were doing lovely local lamb. So suddenly, seeing social media posts coming up here, buy 2 legs of lamb for 20 quid and New Zealand lamb. You're like,
how did you go from like 1 leg of lamb is like 45, 50 quid? Like, how are you selling 2 legs of lamb?
20 quid.
Yeah, for 20 quid.
Yeah.
It's backwards. It's going backwards, isn't it?
It is. It's a really, I'm finding a really difficult, area and a very emotive subject as well, because,
it's emotional. It's emotional.
It is. I want the farmers to get what they deserve. They're owed the money. But at the same time, cost of living is an impact. Customers only have a certain amount of income. And at what point are they going to go, nah, that's too much?
Enough is enough, yeah.
But on the flip side, we've seen it with free-range chickens. We said that back in the beginning. The chickens that we first had were a lesser quality free-range chicken. They were still free-range, but they weren't great quality we were first getting. And we were knocking out chickens that are still quite expensive back in the time, about 10, 11 quid a bird, I think, they were around about back at the beginning.
Bad.
No, but we're now knocking out birds at round about £22 to £25 a bird.
Not bad, man, for free range.
It's not bad. Yeah, but we're doing about 180 chickens a week.
Are you buying it at Sutton Hoo's as well?
Yeah, so we work
bad.
very closely with Will at Sutton Hoo, and it's a great relationship there. Thoroughly enjoy working with Will. It comes down, directly from Sutton Hoo straight to us as well. So it's good.
They do a great product.
I really like their birds, to be honest with you. I think the flavour that they produce is phenomenal. The texture, it's that kind of like stupid scenario, like when you dice a chicken up for a curry and you buy a cheaper range of chicken and you dice it and it kind of disintegrates into shredded mess.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the Sutton Hoos, you cook them and they keep their shape and they've got that lovely texture to them. So
it's got that firmness about it, and it just it just holds all that flavour still, and that's
also the irony behind it is that they're filling.
Yeah.
It's that, I suppose it's a hard one to explain, but
it tastes and feels like there's a higher protein content.
Yeah, it's like I can't relate it. I go to like the McDonald's syndrome, right? So you go to McDonald's and one burger's never enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I hands up. I do love a Mackie Day, so I'm not.
You love a good hash brown.
Sustainability approach, but I do like. I can't get this about it. Like honesty and integrity, yeah. But it's that one cheeseburger's never enough.
Yeah.
Hang on,
hold that there. It's like that
where
one chicken breast is perfect.
Hold that there. We got less than a minute. Just hold that there.
One chicken breast is perfect. I've got a number. Actually,
I know. I'm gonna have to. Can I get? I'm starting to lose my voice.
Oh, that's been awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Hopefully, hopefully people find it interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we've had quite a diverse range of conversations with people, and it's been well received. Every single one's been well received.
Alrighty, so thanks so much for your time this evening.
It's been absolutely fantastic so far. It's hopefully, for everyone listening, there's sort of a bit of an insight into what we're doing, into the butchery, into my passion. Really, absolute pleasure. Also, having two legends on talking to us is even better.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely
Amazing words. Yeah. Wow. Thanks, Si. I appreciate your time as well.
Thank you.
Very cool.
So, I do feel there's some more questions coming up.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to the guest questions.
Go for it. Hit me up.
There's 5.
Yep.
Now, number 1, top of the bucket list.
Oh, top of the bucket list for me, probably more travelling would be top of my bucket list. You're going to appreciate this one. Australia, New Zealand.
Fuck.
Definitely on my bucket list. New Zealand would be very high up my bucket list. If I'm honest, I've got family well, I say family, my kids' godparents live out there. So, that's, definitely there. Australia, for the butchery side of things, I want to go out, love to go out and see Brett and those kind of people out there would be fantastic. So, traveling would be, top of my bucket list.
Awesome.
Going
Amazing.
and traveling and eating and experiencing amazing food.
There you go.
You're like the English version of Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, just more sober and less drugs. Yeah.
That's
Probably
chef background with him.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, bless his soul. Yeah, it's miss him around.
Yeah. Number 2.
Quite a straightforward sad bucket list, but yeah, that's
It's not sad at all. No,
Not at all.
what are you talking about?
Who said that?
Number 2, 3 people to invite to dinner and why?
3 people to invite for dinner. Well, obviously, yourself.
Cop out.
You said that's off you.
Yeah, true. 3 people to invite for dinner and why? Let me think. Who would that be? So, I would probably be one of the legendary chefs for their knowledge, their experience. So, Marco Pierre White is like the challenge.
Phenomenal.
That challenge of cooking for an absolute legend. One of the best chefs ever to live, in my eyes. Would be absolutely incredible. So definitely Marco will be one of those people. It's a really difficult question because I just think you're looking for everybody.
I know. It's funny, isn't it?
Can we just get the whole Butcher family under one roof?
Well,
is that kind of on?
To be honest, jokes to say, I was going to say, and again, I think, Anne probably knows more now. It's been one of my ambitions for a long time to get all the butchers together and cook. So I know it's a bit of a cop-out, but I'm going to say the whole butchers family. Yeah, to have the whole butchers family and cook and do like a mass barbecue where we're all around talking butchery and talking food would be an absolute ultimate dream, and hopefully a dream we can actually do and make realistic and bring together.
It is probably closer than you think.
I think so. We've talked about it, and I know Anne and I have talked about stuff quite a lot in the past about actually trying to do stuff, and it's going to happen. And that would be out everything. That probably my ultimate dream. To have the butchers family together and cook. Yeah. We came close to it, didn't we, with the Passion for Life.
Yeah.
And that was proper close to having a bunch of farmers and a bunch of butchers all in a room with some food, which was is incredible.
You call it the Big Butchers Barbecue.
Big Butchers Barbecue.
We'll write it down now and it'll manifest itself.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is going to sound a bit of a cop out, actually, family, because it's my family. Will be yeah.
We've had plenty of people say family, and it's great.
Yeah, it's fundamental, because that's what the joy in food is sitting down and sharing food together. That's food for me is not just a necessity of life. It's a social gathering. It's a social way of living. And food for me should be whether you're saying the Big Butchers family, whether it's Marco, whether it's our family or my direct family, it's the pleasure in cooking and eating together, the whole package. That's it's social occasions, isn't it? Conversations happen, food happens, food's a catalyst for conversation.
Anthony Bourdain, he goes eating spicy noodles in and amongst locals is the happiest.
I know the one.
Yeah,
I know the one. But again,
it translates. It translates over breaking bread with family, friends.
Yep.
It's the same concept. It's just fantastic, and that's always lived with me as well. Like, he's a very iconic chef, but there's many others to take in consideration. But Anthony Bourdain is like the pinnacle of.
And I suppose actually, I go back to McNade. One of our sayings or mottos, family, food, and friends.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. That is it. Yeah.
What more could you want, And to put that example for ourselves, the way we eat, or it's all feast style now. The food goes in the middle of the table, and there's nothing plated, and you help yourself.
Yeah.
That was Luke's. That was Luke's last month. Luke said, "What do you want to eat?" And I was just like, "Oh, what should we have?" And he's just like, "Let's do like a Greek slow cooked lamb neck." This hogget lamb neck. I swear to God, like I couldn't. Like, I'm not lying to you. The circumference of this lamb neck was what?
Hey, that's
20?
absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
20 all the way through, and it was solid. It was solid, and I was just like, "Is that going to feed us?" And then he was just like, "He's like, just wait, just wait." And so when I got to Luke's, and he was started shredding this lamb neck, and he pulled the whole entire thing with the bone, like the vertebrae and everything out. I was like,
it was cool.
"Holy shit!"
We had everything with it.
We had everything. We had jalapenos, we had cilantro, we had like salsa, handmade, everything by Luke.
Yeah, it was
And
good.
then he did these like amazing. It wasn't pita breads, was it? It was
the Greek flatbreads. Isn't it?
the Greek flatbreads, and then like as much lamb as you could grab. It didn't even make a dent in the actual dish. So like we're grabbing this, and the flavor, it was just immense, and it was like the best bread I had. And
This is the buttery mess.
I do apologize about your carpet. I do apologize. But like what you said about McNade's, like McNade's is like exactly what you said. Luke had it. Everyone should have that moral.
Yeah.
Everyone should have that moral. And that's like what we're saying about this podcast. And this is exactly what McNade's needs to get that recognition about as well, because you guys are just, like, in my honest opinion, you put Ginger Pig, H.G. Walters, you put all those people to shame. Like all those London butchers, you put like nothing against the butchers themselves, but you put those brands to absolute shame. And that's just me honestly speaking. And you guys have like nailed you've nailed it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I think, like I said before though, it's just honesty and integrity.
Yep. 100%. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to it, is there? It's just that. You can't even elaborate on it. It's honesty and integrity.
Yep. 100%.
Don't need to elaborate.
Yeah.
But food, that's the three for me. I think that's the real kind of pinnacles. I think that would be.
Yeah, they're great. Good choices.
Awesome.
Right.
Oh,
Number 3. Where do you see the future of butchery?
I'm seeing a bright future, if I'm honest. I think the current economy, in some respects, is hopefully going to push people back to buying independently,
Basic.
independent butcheries. I think whether that's a case of, several aspects, people wanting to know where their food's coming from, is a big question.
Yep.
Whether that's a pure based on price that like we said, you can go to a butchery and you can buy the volumes that you need, not the volumes that you're dictated to.
Yep.
So, you're cooking for one, you can get 250 grams of mince. Yeah. You don't have to be stipulated to that 500 grams or a kilo or 6 sausages. You want a small roasting joint for 2 people. Well, you can get that. Yeah. So, I think the current economy is going to start to push people that way, hopefully. Do you know what? Quality, you would always pay for quality. We know that.
Yeah.
But when you can pay for quality, but to the exact amounts you need rather than extortionate amounts that you don't need, hopefully, that's going to win. So I see a bright future for it. The trade's in a difficult position right now, as we all know, with the volume of actual butchers that are out there. But I think with the positives of social media, putting butchery on the map, starting to give it a real positive imagery to the trade, is hopefully going to encourage the younger generation to come into the trade. So I see. We're a while off yet. I think we've got some hard times still to come. To get to that stage, but I do think it's going to come full circle, and I do think, you know, in a few years' time, you're going to go back on the high street and you're going to see butchers, fishmongers, and greengrocers again. I really,
That's what I said, wasn't it, Luke? There's going to be like a cash inject.
Yep, it will happen. You watch, it will happen. You know, your high streets.
It comes like history repeats itself.
It does. You know, the high streets are going to reinvent themselves, and I think you're going to see, and you're already starting to see glimpses of it now. You know. Social media can also be a dangerous tool because you see the glamorous side, but you do look at the social media, look at the amount of independent people, Phil, Gav, you know, are opening, you know, their little butchers up, which are doing fantastic, and you're seeing it, you know, you're seeing it happen.
People need to realize as well, like social media is only capturing like happy moments, happy moments, the snapshots and everything.
It doesn't capture the hard graft, everything else. No. Exactly.
That realism, people need to realize as well, like not to take the internet very serious, like let alone Instagram or Facebook.
It's all those tinted glasses, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it. Like if you're literally taking that upon you to go, oh, that's like the way it is, or like your mental state is like flipped from seeing something. Just remember, out of the 24 hours and the minute clip you've seen, like, come on. Like
exactly, yeah.
Grow the fuck up.
Yeah, very, very well said. Very well said.
Yeah, I agree with you. So hopefully, it's not to come back.
I was a bit glim on mine, wasn't I? But at the same time, I was like, it needed a bit of a cash inject, but it needed that cash inject to go back to basics.
Yeah,
it's like that was my ground zero that I was trying to get across on the episode when we did it with us.
Yeah, I think I was really cynical with mine.
Yeah. Luke was just like, buy local, go fuck your mum. That was Luke's.
Right, I think it's gonna come full circle, and I think there's a want and there's going to be a need for it as well. I think so.
There's going to be a demand. But the demand is going to be where, all right, I can buy local, I can source it, and I know that that's not going to cause issues with my family down the line. So if I set aside X amount and I know I'm going to have X amount, then I know I can make 3 meals out of this topside, and I'm going to get 3 meals out of this mince or whatever it is.
It's the extra value service that you get from the butchery as well. You know, it's not just the fact you can buy your meat; it's the advice, it's everything that you can get with it.
And where the supermarkets drop the ball, as they are doing.
Supermarkets drop the ball since fucking day dot. They've dropped the ball
more and more. It is becoming more prevalent across the media, though, isn't it? It's people are starting to realise. So I'm genuinely confident that the trade is gonna flourish. Yeah, it may take a little bit of time. It's going to happen. I love that.
Nice. Yeah, rightio. Episode. Question number 4: Death row meal, starter, main, dessert. Talk to me about your drinks.
Oh, death row meal. Well, it's quite straightforward. It's got to be a curry. Pretty much, it's got to be a curry. Absolute spice.
What? Main curry, dessert curry.
Main curry, yeah. Stuff the starters. Stuff.
Poppadoms.
No starters, no poppadoms, no chuck.
And in point of fact, I'm going to go more specific. It's got to go down sort of the Thai route. A nice clean, penyang or something, or rendang, something like that. Would definitely
red nang. Yeah, awesome.
And exactly, curry for me. I like, the thing with curry is the complexity of flavors. More so,
layers. The layers of it is phenomenal.
But layers done cleverly.
Yep.
You've got layers, but you can still taste every individual component in those layers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's something so skillful about that. I don't think people realise how much skill goes into making curries.
Yeah.
To build that individual layers of flavour. And in point of fact, again, it was something that actually goes back to the beginning. Andrew Clark taught me when I first started chefing. And it was that balance of spices and flavour. If you've got 15 different spices, they've got to be balanced out in harmony. you want to be tasting the cardamom, you want to be tasting the cinnamon, you want to be tasting the star anise, and so yeah, for me, it's that.
Also, they're on the same, like those flavors that you described. They're all on the same like licorice balance.
Yeah.
But they all have their own key components, and they all work within themselves as like a flavor.
Exactly.
But and that's why like that Thai food is like. I traveled through Southeast Asia for 6 months, and
just clean. It's
clean. Yeah. For like you have a red curry to a green curry, chicken, vegetable. You could not tell the difference, but the flavor is immense, and it was just packed full of it. And you're just like, but how can I? Like I can tell the difference between each layer, and it's just incredible. And like same with Vietnam as well, and like Cambodia. The Cambodian, like their flavors were completely reversed.
You like Vietnam, for me, it's the ultimate of health. If you're feeling rough, a bowl of pho is the best thing in the world. That broth,
it's rich.
It is rich, but it's balanced. Again, when they say curry in that last meal, it's not all. I love my heat, but it's not all about the heat. The heat is the element to it, but it still builds alongside all the other flavors. Go back to the Thai influence for me. It's that balance of that lemongrass. That I absolutely love, that fragmented, incredible flavor. But you balance that off. It's done on your palate, isn't it? It's that the sweet, the sour, and the savoury. Your umami,
sweet, sour,
against it. You're using your sugars balanced against your lemongrass and your limes, and then you've got the sauce coming through your fish sauce elements or your shrimp paste, and getting that yin yang balance between those
it's that salt balance as well. It's just like it's that salt balance. It's like, how have they collaborated like a sweet and sour, but I'm getting this ultimate
bringing this
burst. This ultimate burst is sweet, but then there's this like tangy, like zest of like sweetness, but it's just like, have they added that? Have they done this? Have they how have they cooked this?
But also, you take we proper, like you say, having travelled around, and we're lucky. We've got a fantastic Thai restaurant just down the road from us here that are very traditional, and the Western palate isn't acclimatized to the amount of fish sauce that they use, and when you do it properly with the right amount, wow, that impact is just phenomenal.
No, it's
100% for me. That's it. Give me, just feed me that.
I'll give you all of it if you die.
I don't want a dessert. I don't want a dessert.
Do you want a drink? What do you have for a drink?
What are you having for a drink?
Oh, you're gonna laugh now. The humble cup of tea.
Nice.
That's not even laughable. That's just you all over. You're a humble man for a humble cup of tea.
Cup of tea makes the world go around,
I love you, Simon.
You're in the butchery, you're having a shit day. What's the best thing you can do?
Tea.
Have a cup of tea.
It's the most British thing you could ever say.
It is. But it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
I love you, Simon.
Most people are going to say beer on there, or no, cup of tea, mate.
Last question. Are aliens real?
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Nice.
Go on then. Tell us why.
I ain't telling you if they're not real.
Do you have any evidence to back that up?
Yeah, go on then.
A couple living in a house.
Speaking of two of them now as well, he says.
No.
Do you want my honest opinion to that answer? Is I think as a human race, we will be very naive to think that there's not another existence out there. In this universe that we can only see, not even that percentage, not even 0.5%. What we can see out that window. So if we firmly believe that there's no one else out there, then no way. It's not true. There's got to be. So of course aliens are real.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
But, hey,
we got another one, folks.
We got another one. What do we?
Amazing.
11 for 12 or something? Is it? Third pick.
I think we are. We're 100% pretty much.
Yeah.
We've pretty much turned everyone into believers. One way or another.
Awesome. Absolutely love that.
My alien story is absolutely phenomenal when it comes out on Monday.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's so brilliant. It's a true story as well. Like I was very young when this is why the 5 questions come up. And like the last one is, are aliens real? And it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
a little golden yarn like ants. And it's something. Keep your ears, eyes peeled. Simon, this has been absolutely fucking awesome to have you on.
Really appreciate pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Yeah, like I say, I hope everyone could take a little bit out of it from segments from it. But it's always a pleasure to, and it's like I say, I hope everyone enjoys it.
Yeah, no, everyone will. That's the best thing. Like we get so much feedback. It's not like we get a bit of the Butcher's Bible, but then individually, like Luke and I will send like screenshots back and forth to each other from 50 odd people, and they're like, "Oh, I really enjoyed this episode," and whatever. It's just like, no, just tell the podcast. Like, I know that we talk daily, but just like tell the podcast like itself, and then we're like swapping messages over. It's just like, really get it.
Yeah, I got a message the other day of someone going, "Ant was wrong for saying that." I was like, "For saying what?" Like that's all they said.
Because I'm the outspoken one, obviously, in this conversation.
Maybe, yeah.
But Luke's the lovable, adorable, like I'm here for the ride one, where it's just like, fuck you, aliens are real, the moon is a circle, go shake mum.
Love it.
You ever seen the other side of the moon? I don't think so.
Yeah, right. Before we go, Simon, please plug and promote everything you, Maynard, and the festival coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, like a massive thank you to everybody that's tuning in and taking the time to listen through me waffle on for the last hour or so. But yeah, like say, plug Barbecue Beer and Barbecue Festival, 6th of July, Maynard in Faversham in Kent. If you're around, check out the website, check out the social media channels, Instagram and Facebook. Obviously, the biggest one for me, Pasture for Life. Anyone who listens to this has got even the smallest little bit of interest into what it is or what we're trying to do. Please, pop onto the Pasture for Life website. It's a great website. It's got a great front page on the website that will give you real kind of key indicators to what we're trying to achieve and why we're trying to achieve it, from health benefits to environmental impacts. So they're my 2 biggest plugs. Obviously, Maynard in Faversham. If you're ever in Kent or Kent, please do come and see us. Always make yourself known on the butchery counter. Come and ask for Simon. I'm there at least 5 days a week. Come and ask for us. So it'd be great to see as many people as possible. Even if it's just come and have a cup of tea with us and have a chat. It's an absolute pleasure. So other than that, really for me, it's huge. Thank you, Ant. Thank you, Luke. What a pleasure.
What
a pleasure.
Anytime.
No, thank you guys. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And to everyone listening, like, subscribe. You know the rules.
Yeah, tag us in it all. Yeah. Stay out in the paddocks. Love you guys. Take care. Ciao.